Welcome to the Aston Martin DBX707, or to be more precise, welcome to the UK launch of the 707 here in the beautiful Cotswolds. Now, you might well ask why Aston Martin is hosting an event, especially for the 707 when the DBX was launched some 2 years ago, but this is a lot more than kind of just a poshed up DBX. This is the fastest SUV you can buy. It will do 193 miles per hour, courtesy of a very uprated 4-litre twin-turbo V8, which is, of course, of Mercedes AMG fame. That V8 now gets 697 brake horsepower, or 707 PS, to be more precise, which is why it's got the 707 name. There is a new wet clutch 9-speed automatic gearbox, and all of the style upgrades, well, they're there for function as well as for form. Not only that, but Aston Martin has had a new boss in the last couple of years as well. Tobias Mers set Aston Martin's engineers a challenge to make the DBX the best handling SUV that you can buy. Now, I haven't driven it yet, so I'm holding judgment until I've had a go, but certainly on paper they've made a lot of changes. It's got different suspension top mounts, it's got different suspension settings, there's lots of different weight changes. These wheels and the brakes, this thing has got 490mm carbon ceramic discs at the front, 380 I think at the back. They are enormous brake discs. Like I said, carbon ceramic as standard, 23-inch wheels optionally on this one, 22s as standard. So they've removed 40 kilograms of unsprung weight there. Not only that, it's got different diff setups, it's got different active anti-roll bar setup. Everything has been changed on this car really in order to make it maintain that kind of touring aspect that people really like about the DBX, which is carrying on in its standard form, by the way, alongside the 707, but also to make this feel like more than just a faster version of the DBX. So it's going to be really exciting to see whether they've managed to do that, because I do think that the changes are quite significant. And because of all those changes to the powertrain mainly, Aston have of course had to change the cooling on the car. So the style upgrades to the 707, they are pretty much all functional. So this grille at the front is about 30% bigger than on the standard DBX. And also because the grille's got bigger, they've had to change the DRL LED running lights in order to make more room for the cooling around here, just in order to kind of force enough air into that enormous V8, which is all very exciting. Not only that, but the aero all around the wheels, they've really worked on making the aero along here better. So you get these little wings on the 707, which changes the wake of the air as it goes over the rear wheel arch. All of this stuff, they really have put a lot of effort into it. It's got a drag coefficient of 0.39, which is all right, I suppose, for a big SUV. And not only that, you've got the rear diffuser and the wing at the back here, and that does actually add downforce. It is doing something. It's not just there to kind of give the DBX that really kind of stanced, kind of aggressive look that naturally the buyers of a £190,000, 193 mile per hour car are going to want. So there you have it. I do think it is actually a really quite lovely looking thing. I'm not always a big fan of the really kind of like super fast SUV styling, but I think in this colour, it's actually really kind of classy. I do love the ducktail on the back of it, it's still cool. One thing I would say, if I were buying a, £190,000, let's face it, £200,000 car, well, I find the panel gaps at the front kind of really draw my eye, so they just don't seem to be very consistent. This is a really big panel gap here, and then the panel gap down here is also kind of like really narrow here and it gets wider. That bothers me, and I'm not normally a big one on kind of picky details like that. But if I'm going to gloss over that, love the colour, and I think it's really quite a stunning thing. And I do think it looks really kind of stanced on the road, doesn't it? It's really cool. So let's get out and have a look at it, because there's big changes to the interior, but of course really what the DBX707 is all about is how it drives. It sounds epic, this car, absolutely epic. If there is a reason you're going to buy it, it's for that. Oh my goodness, what a thing this engine is. Yeah, my goodness, that V8 is wonderful, absolutely full of shock and awe and delight. And I want one quite badly. But if you're in the market for an SUV like this, I do think that the engine in this is just spectacular, even up against the other stuff that you're going to be looking at. So Aston Martin, they really have done a lot to it. It's got a single piece carbon prop, bigger turbos, it's got a new 9-speed wet clutch gearbox, and that gearbox is really good too. So really lovely paddles here, nice big paddles that you can reach easily, perfect. And they give you full control, so they do actually hold the gear as well. They don't auto upshift if you're in manual mode. And the thing I really like about this engine is that it doesn't need to be absolutely floored everywhere. You can actually really get quite a lot of satisfaction out of it. It's got proper fizz to it, even at normal road speeds and that kind of normal ebb and flow of a nice country road. It's still really fun, and I think that's really important, because I mean, you've got this kind of power. Where on earth in practice are you going to get to use it properly? So the fact that it's actually fun at normal road speeds, yeah, pretty critical. And because the DBX, as I've sort of alluded to, it was really popular for being, or is popular, for being a great touring SUV as well. And if you stick this in GT, so you get your drive modes down here, this is all a new control unit down here as well. Nice rotary control, stick it in GT, everything calms down a bit. And it's still a really good touring car. This does have quite a bit of tyre noise, I'll give you that. It's 23-inch wheels, are we surprised? Not even a little bit, no. Apart from that, really good. Really good. Even the engine calms down nicely. This has got a quiet start mode as standard as well, so it doesn't wake your neighbours up if you leave early. You can have a loud start option if you want. You can sort of turn that on. So it's got all of the options you want. Really good tourer. And I would add that that is largely because of the suspension, as much as, if not more than, because of the powertrain. The ride, the handling, absolutely stellar in the 707. I mean, it's just a joy. It's got really, really good sort of precision to it. There's very controlled responses to the way this car goes down the road. So even if you go around a corner with awkward cambers, even if you hit quite a sharp edge pothole, it really does track really cleanly. And again, I think that's really important when you do have this level of performance. You're probably going to be carrying a bit of speed, and it just deals with that so perfectly. It stays really unflustered. That also makes it kind of more restful on a long journey, because actually directional stability and tracking is key to having a car that doesn't wear you out when you're on a long journey. So it's all kind of adding up really brilliantly to this still being a good long distance car. And yet, that suspension, if you stick this in Sport or Sport Plus, I mean, it's proper witchcraft. I mean, this is a 2.3 tonne car, just under. And yet the direction changes are proper sports car like proper sports car like. It's like this isn't an SUV at all. You do get a slightly higher ride height, obviously, and you know the driving position is a bit more SUV like, but it feels, in the way it responds, well, virtually proper high-end sports car. And I'm not exaggerating. It's just the way it controls its body. Just the nose turns in. Really superb. But everything gels really nicely, the DBX. It just feels so organic. And part of that is the steering too, which of course has been tweaked for the 707 as well. So slightly heavier responses off the dead ahead. It sort of flows down the road with this car. That's the really lovely thing about it. Very precise direction changes, but it all feels, it just gels. Everything about this car just sort of feels very smooth and alert and lovely. I have to say the steering feels, you know, it's almost like kind of a sort of old-fashioned hydraulic system. Really lovely in the sort of tactile feedback that you get. Really, really like it. And still light enough to, you know, it's really easy to manoeuvre around this car if you want. Plus you get your surround view, parking camera and all of that stuff. So that's fine. Given that visibility out the back isn't brilliant, it has to be said. And while we're on the more practical notes, let's mention the fact that there's masses of space in those rear seats, really comfy rear seats, climate control back there and all of that. Boot probably could be a bit bigger, but I mean, let's face it, it's going to be fine for most people who are looking at these kind of things. It's going to be, I'd say, usefully better than that in an Urus, that's for sure. So it kind of ticks all the boxes for the practical SUV, which I don't know if people who buy these do want that. I guess maybe they do. It's there if you want it. However, I do have a few quibbles with other kind of usable aspects of this car, namely the infotainment system. Because this system, it's not a touchscreen. It looks like it should be because it's really kind of convenient arm-length distance from where you sit in the driving position. Nonetheless, it's not. It's controlled by a rotary controller down here, which I have no issue with, and a touchpad. If you've driven Mercedes with that system in, then you'll be quite familiar here. But the setup of the screen, some of the menus are really confusing, and it's just really tricky to use. Even things like, you know, turning off the voice control for the sat nav and this kind of stuff that you may well be trying to do while you're driving along, isn't intuitive, and it doesn't even actually respond as quickly as you want it to sometimes. So I do find that the system is quite frustrating when you think that you get basically a substantially better system in, you know, a BMW or an Audi of half this price. So there you have it. This is, well, more than anything, it's just the most sublime SUV I've ever driven for ride and handling and performance combined. Yes, I think a Cayenne may well get close, but the Urus perhaps is maybe arguably even more theatrical, but the DBX just feels like the real purist's option. It's just such a beautiful, organic, kind of like really engaging car to drive, and yet still really easy to live with. So I really do think that Aston have absolutely nailed the brief on this car, and it does feel like a substantial jump over the normal DBX as well. It really does feel like a lot more car. It's a lot more money too. If you're buying this, I suspect that you don't care. And do you know what? I think with this engine, yeah, I'd go for this one. Don't forget to head to cargurus.co.uk for a whole host of fantastic used cars. And while you're here, do like the video, subscribe to the CarGurus UK YouTube channel, and turn on your notifications so that you don't miss any of our videos.